Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Heroes CCL, presented by Wisdom. My name is Bahamut, and I am joined by Grubby and Justing, as always. And we are in week number 5, day number 2, and we're getting ready for our 4th matchup of the weekend. We are going to be seeing WildHeart Esports up against Granit Gaming. We can start breaking down those rosters in a little bit, talk about the map pool, all that kind of stuff. But what I'm mostly curious about is the prize pool, Grubby. The prize pool is at $8,326.69. And I was curious, what are your thoughts on this prize pool? How do you think it affects the players as it does rise up? You can use exclamation point prize pool in chat.
Oh, exclamation mark prize pool. Interesting. Should
nice.
take a look and see if we can bring in some extra support for that. But players, definitely, they're going to be getting the lion's share as the victor. All of them, of course, want to be number one. And, you know, I will remember way back when, 2003, I was playing tournaments and, you know, in a league like this with teammates, I think the strongest thing is wanting to win together, putting down a performance that you'll remember for the rest of your lives, as I do some of ours with our team way back when in 2004 and 5. And prize money wasn't the main purpose, but, you know, people grow up, they need a bit of livelihood as well, and it's super motivating to see that kind of support coming in as well. And I'm sure it's extra power. Every player different. And it's extra power to them to try and practice for this and do their absolute best going into this tournament. So all of it will help to produce better games as well.
I agree. And Justin, really quickly, I mean, you've played in previous seasons of CCL. Seeing the price will go up from week to week and day to day, and even during the broadcasts, did that kind of entice WildHeart a little bit more? It'd be like, man, that price pool's going up. We better be in that, top 3 area to get some good pricing breakdown.
I think the main thing that it does for the games especially is it creates a lot more pressure. Whether you are playing, exclusively for fun, or obviously there's that competition, and as the prize pool increases, the competition definitely increases as well. There's just more pressure when there's more on the line, and I think that fuels a lot more heated games when you get later into the season, just knowing that there is significant money on the line when you get up to towards the finals. You've got to really it is motivating. It's mostly nerve-wracking. The higher it goes, the later in the season as your games get more and more important.
Well, there you go. All of you in chat, if you donate, $1 or $2 here and there, you can make all the CCL players extremely nervous. And I mean, I think that's a really good achievement for everyone. So as I said, if you want to donate to the prize pool, we also really, really do appreciate it. But we also just want to say thank you to the community. Thank you to the people who have donated and have pushed this prize pool so very far. But we've talked about prize pool. We're getting ready for this series. And I really, really want to start talking about this next best of 5. So I think we can actually start breaking into the rosters right now, Grubby. And who will we see over on the WildHeart side?
Yeah, we're going to be having Mason Blaze, Slug Hunter, Tremor, Weary Day, Zerkling, and potentially Lupus. This team has been very impressive. They had a very strong start, then tapered off a bit, but still looking at a very good record. Mason Blaze, fantastic range damage dealer. Slug Hunter, he's got that healing icon, but hasn't he been side lane?
Yeah, I thought
he's the offlane. He role swapped from support.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And
I thought we'd
Tremor's been doing it's been doing great on tank role, actually. I hadn't been familiar with him previously, but he's very strong.
He's a very strong tank player. We've seen him in previous weeks on his Diablo. He has actually really good reads on that Diablo with the angling, the shadow charging, the overpowering. But when we look at the side of Granit Gaming, Justin, what are your expectations, thoughts on this roster?
Yeah, so with the addition of Red Robot, as soon as they made that change, they started looking a lot stronger. So I'm kind of hoping to see that kind of increasing in value for them, that pickup of Red Robot. It felt like he injected a lot of just morale into the team, which is something that we heard in the interview. It's not necessarily just his gameplay, but also just that fresh, kind of breathes fresh life into the team. And we've got Henning on support, Red Robot playing the tank, Skog is kind of ranged flex now, Bombkarada playing offlane, Gia playing the main flex, and possibly we'll be seeing Carbon, depending on how things go.
We could see Carbon, absolutely. And those are going to be your rosters for WildHeart going up against Granit Gaming. And it's going to be a really exciting matchup. Last weekend, WildHeart lost to the side of 30K in a 3-0, and that was also the weekend, I had to scroll up, it was Granit Gaming went up against Simplicity, and Granit Gaming actually took a map off of Simplicity. So looking kind of crazy right now what we could see for this best of 5 series. But Grubby, we already have our maps selected, and I'm curious, where are we going to be heading into for our first map in this second best of 5?
It's going to be Battlefield of Eternity today. The first time we see that today. Going to be the WildHeart pick, Battlefield of Eternity, the team fighter map, the not so much macro map. So that's going to be interesting.
A lot of team fighting there. Oh, please go ahead.
WildHeart hasn't really been tested much yet, in a sense. They haven't really proven themselves. We had Justin saying they did come out very strong and had good scrims, and they did look very powerful in week 1, but they beat Chili Mountain 3-0, and almost everybody did that. And then they had the free win over Storm, and that kind of didn't test them. And then they lost 2 series into Simplicity and into 30K. So the other 2 strongest teams. So it's really hard to judge where they're at. If they're just straight up purely the 3rd best, then they should crush this. But if all they can do is to beat Chili Mountain, well, Granit Gaming did that too. They lost to everybody else so far. And so this is really the big determiner of where WildHeart is going to be in this season.
And you were talking about some stats in general. We've literally only seen 10 maps from WildHeart. They've played 10 maps total. 4 wins, 6 losses. I have the stats right in front of me. On Battlefield, they've won once, excuse me. And then for the side of Granit Gaming has won this map once, lost it twice. So 33.3 repeating % win rate on that map. But Justin, I want to get your thoughts here because everything is really flying through on this draft. Bans already coming through, and a first pick, Lunara.
Yes, Stukov is still available, and they opt to go with that Lunara. They did ban out the Vala, and Lunara Vala are the 2 main normal hyper carries on this map. But you don't necessarily need a hyper carry on this map unless you're looking to go for a really death bally composition where you just fight past the Immortal. WildHeart last week against 30K, I think they really just kind of lost most of the drafts. They were really heavily prioritizing the Diablo. Even when things like Tychus could be available, they ended up playing it into an eventual Tychus Garrosh. So I'm going to hope to see that WildHeart has made some big changes to their draft strategy coming out from last week, where it really looked like that was kind of hurting them, as well as Zergling playing Junkrat here. I think that's good for him. He is new to the flex position, so getting something that he's comfortable on is really important, but giving the Stukov over to the 2-3, Hogger Stukov Lunara looks extremely strong so far out the gates for Granit Gaming.
I really do like the Urel actually for WildHeart. Slug Hunter has been fairly effective on this Urel in the past, playing it twice for the team and winning both times with it. So I do like the control, the flanking, and the overall Righteous Hammer playstyle. But Grubby, got to get your thoughts here as we do have the draft evolving, and we do see our next ban being, I'm just curious, it's an Anduin. Okay.
Yeah, can't find any fault yet with how WildHeart has drafted it so far. Urel and Junkrat, absolutely top picks, and not enough teams in general are looking at Urel. Turns out not everyone can play her that well, apparently. And now we're going to have the Lucio and Garrosh come in. Just absolutely amazing draft for WildHeart. Loving what is possible here, particularly at level 16. Lucio will be able to out-heal so much of what Lunara can do. You have that little bit of an issue where it's hard to high-five people that are getting low-blowed, getting puddled. Garrosh can have a gap closer issue sometimes against heroes like Lunara and even Stukov. Liming and Anubrak are going to come in.
That's a really terrifying draft from Granit Gaming, Justin, but gotta get your thoughts on just everything that we're seeing here. Maybe even a last pick potential for WildHeart here?
So WildHeart is in a kind of weird spot in the draft. They really want a range with CC like Sylvanas, and they really need something that can kind of deal with the front line of Hogger and Anubrak. Right now, Junkrat doesn't really kill the front line at all. He's just mostly a poke hero. So, I mean, Granit Gaming, I think, has a god tier comp on this map right now, and Tracer's what they go with. So, it's very weird. Their comp feels a little bit disjointed with the Junkrat not necessarily contributing to this sort of dive-heavy composition they've drafted. They've got Lucio, Urel, Tracer, who all want to just dive in. Garrosh also doesn't really have a great way to get in with that. Overall, I'm heavily preferring Granit's comp. They have better poke for the Immortal. They have better engage. I think it kind of feels like they kind of just threw Mason on Tracer and said, all right, salvage the draft. You're going to have to carry this. Like, good luck. It looks
what do you think
tough.
if he would have been Greymane instead of Tracer? Would that be better or worse in your opinion?
It's good into a Nubarak. It's bad into Stukov when he gets the physical armor. It gives them a little bit better burn, but I think it's pretty close. I think they both kind of do similar things for the draft. I don't think either one really salvages the draft, though, with what Granit Gaming picked. I think Granit Gaming just came out with a really, really winning draft. I don't think like Tracer's going to have a really hard time getting in on anyone on the side of Granite Gaming. They're all really tanky, and they all kind of play just very close together, a deathball style, which Tracer really has the struggles to kind of get into. And also, I think that Garrosh is going to get kited pretty heavily by the side of Granite Gaming. So I think Granite Gaming's draft is infinitely better, and WildHeart's going to have to outplay if they want to win.
Alrighty, well, thank you for the breakdown, Justin, and we'll see what's going to happen here on Battlefield of Eternity. We are loaded into our first map and our second best of 5 of the day. WildHeart in the blue, Zergling on the Junkrat, Tremor on the Garrosh, Slug Hunter to play Yrel, Weary Day on the Lucio, and Mason Blaze will be on the Tracer. Over on the Granite Gaming side, Granite Gaming, is going to be a Li Ming played by Gia, Skoog on the Lunara, Red Robot on the Anubarak, Henning on the Stukov, and Svampgrada on the Hogger. I agree with like everything Justin said, Grubby, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say I think WildHeart can do it. That's
level based.
I have a gut feeling. I do like a lot of the factors that they have. I think that the scaling of WildHeart can be very strong. I think Garrosh can be an extremely dominant force in the latter half of the game. So the early game could be super strong for Granite. I'm predicting that the latter half, the 10 post area, should be good for WildHeart's side. But what do you think about all this as we're kind of looking at a little back and forth in bottom lane?
Yeah, I don't know exactly how good Tracer's race is. Must be decent. Greymane a little better. I always think that it really helps on this map to have just to win the race.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not fighting and you're five manning the objective, that you just win the race. For a team to have that part of the draft just offers a lot of flexibility. Team fights will come and go, but maximum damage on Immortal stays. So, yeah, if we look at that, then of course Granite Gaming has got the much better end of it, and I like that part about the draft. For the rest, I do think that WildHeart has what they need to have a fantastic team fight.
Do you think we could see Decimate from Tremor, or do you think it'll be a Warlord's Challenge just to lock people in place to allow Junkrat Tracer to try and find some sustained damage potential burst?
It's hard to weave in and out of combat with Decimate against this team.
Mm-hmm.
Anubarak and Hogger generally don't live that long on the front line, and Lunara and Li Ming are too hard to catch with anything. So I think Warlord's Challenge is better to make use of that brief period where Hogger and Anubarak are on the front line for just a bit. Seems more useful for that. And normally I'm a big Decimate fan, but I think Warlord is better here. Sure.
I wanted to get your thoughts on it because it's definitely, I feel like Tremor is one of those Garrosh players that could go either way with it. And he stepped up, but there was a burrow from Red Robot to back away. No toss over the wall. No first blood potential just yet as Tremor eats a Arcane Orb from Li Ming, and we will see the camp on the left-hand side to be grabbed by WildHeart, and on the right-hand side, it will be going over to the side of Granite Gaming. So good camp timing from both sides, as the Immortal phase will spawn here in about 20-some seconds. Oftentimes, Grubby and I have talked about this quite a bit, and there's kind of some mid-maxing you can do about when to grab it, and then if you grab it earlier than the enemy, how quickly does it get to lane, what's your positioning for the Immortal. And in bottom lane, there's a potential dive onto Li Ming. She will blink forward, avoiding any sort of kill threat.
Yeah, I always wondered whether it makes any sense to have like a pre-Immortal fight, just 5-man one of the lanes, because it's so telegraphed these days. 12 to 15 seconds before you grab the bruiser, then you rotate to lane.
Mm-hmm.
What if you catch them right then and there? And there isn't much time to make it there. So neither of the teams are going to be able to make use of that. We have a defense by Granite Gaming as they use Hager for defending the wall. Zergling is kind of pushing in there, gate, and much of the towers has been damaged. Now Granite is starting to move forward, starting to deal some damage. Just need to mind their position into Garrosh. Garrosh himself generally doesn't gap close, but Weary Day can help, both dismounting an enemy and then giving movement speed to Tremor's Garrosh. Additionally, Junkrat can help pair up as well. Boss Bomb on Red Robot.
A lot of percent base damage going into him right now, or excuse me, not yet. They don't have the 10 talent tier by any means. The other thing too with Garrosh is just his just overall threat onto some of these heroes. Like, yeah, there's the gap closing that you do have from the Lucy as well, and then the push off can be there, but you also have the Indomitable, so you can't CC the Garrosh, and he can just pop that Indomitable, I believe a 40-second cooldown onto that, and he's unstoppable for 1.5 seconds, so he can pop that, rush into the enemy, and we often consider this to be like the walk the garage, because you go in for the speed boost of Lucio, and then he's just almost, well, quite literally unstoppable. Amazing Righteous Hammer from Slug Hunter right there, and the Burrow Charge! Oh, the Nexus Forces are going to be able to get first blood to the side of WildHeart, and look at this, it's kill after kill. Stukov will go down, Hogger's going to try and spin away, and Weary Day wants to chase in, decides not to do so. Li Ming throwing out combo from here and there as Tracer does race down the Immortal on the left-hand side. A lot more HP left on this left side Immortal, as Hogger is going to try and poke in with a easy throw Dynamite. There's the combo from Li Ming. Gia able to get that last bit of race potential damage.
Yeah, it's such a classic game for these two drafts here. You have the full Garrosh and Junkrat combination power, which is now truly very scary with the level 7 armor debuff. Garrosh, Junkrat, absolutely amazing together. Garrosh, Lucio are amazing together. Yrel, Tracer are just accessories here. But these three are the combo potential. And you see that move right there again. It's just insane. We're going to be seeing that the whole game over with nothing being able to counterplay that. The thing is, Stukov doesn't have cleanse. So when that happens, it's gonna happen. There's nothing a Nubarak can do to stop that. If you are near a trap, you don't know where it is, if Garrosh throws you in, that's it. Normally you're like, bro, charge out. Now that's not possible. But it's so classical that Granit Gaming does still get that objective, despite losing a few deaths here and there. Oh, man. Yeah.
Bye, Gia.
Gia thought it was going to be an honorable one-on-one, but there's no honor in battles like these.
What do you think of this level 7 Oppressor for the Garrosh? I'm trying to remember the standard Garrosh at 7 I see, and I'm honestly blanking, but I really do love this.
Anymore.
Yeah.
There's no standard anymore since Into the Fray was baselined. So now you can do Into the Fray, you give like more armor, you get CDR when you toss an ally into enemy minions or heroes. It's mediocre. That's not how he's gonna generally play it. So you can either reduce attack speed or spell power, and then you just look at your enemy team. Do they have mages or AA? Well, they have mages, so you get this.
I feel like I see the attack speed. I feel like I see that paired in with that level 1 Warbreaker, because you have the cooldown reduction after you hit 15 enemy heroes. You get the damage over time for 244 damage scaling over 3 seconds after the first 5. So I feel like I often see that level 1 paired in with the level 7 for just that synergy of attack speed. But I like this Oppressor for that spell power reduction. Spell power, correct? Yes.
Spell power, yeah.
Okay.
And it's funny because you're pointing out a very strong synergy, CDR plus then value out of that CDR. And it's ignoring obvious draft synergy, obvious talent synergy to get the thing that you actually need. That's often the hard thing to do for people. Nice Pulse Bomb. Much better Tracer play than yesterday. We saw Tracer yesterday from someone. A lot of Pulse rounds were missed, just so many. And here they keep hitting. Mason Blaze is owning on it. He's getting the kills. It's 11 versus 9. I think that's the first level 11 versus 9 we've seen today.
This is the largest experience gap I think we've seen thus far in our matches. Maybe a little closer, but still, I agree with you. It is looking really good for WildHeart as they jump onto the second Immortal phase of the game. Belth will be shredded right now. And let's take stock of some of these 10 talent tiers and see how it changes things up for the side of Granit Gaming, because they just hit 10. They've got that Cocoon, Shockwave, Flailing Swipe, a little bit of that Thornwood Vine action to pair into the Lunara level 4 and 7, hitting those marks with the Thornwood Vine, plus the Nature's Toxin, not Nature's Toxin, excuse me, the Blossom Swell, Noxious Blossom, and then you can get the burst potential with the Choking Pollen level 7. Red Robot floating around over here around the Immortal. Camp will go over to the side of WildHeart, but it's looking good to the side of WildHeart. They might be able to jump onto Red Robot, actually.
It's also really interesting that WildHeart actually, while they have attacking position, they still went for the Bruiser first. Big move there on the Nubarak. He gets blown up. He gets blown up and blown away, but he didn't take a lot of damage. He had that big spell armor, full catapult build. He keeps getting attacked over and over and over. He's getting bullies, and there's not enough. Oh, nice magic missile shots by GR. Can he get another kill? Yrel, Slug Hunter gets the big hammer stun. GR looking to get another kill here. Misses his shots. It was so close. Great job, though, with Granit Gaming. They had to form a very active defense here of this point, but it comes at a cost. WildHeart took a winning proposition because they took that Bruiser Camp first, because they realized they were winning the race. They were actually able to play with the idea that they were going to race the Immortal, which is why Granit didn't fully commit to the race. Oh, wow, another kill there on Tracer.
Tracer will go down. I was just looking at the bottom lane really quickly to see if the tower shots would target onto the Fallen Shaman camp before the Fallen Shaman camp gets the fort, and you can see right there that fort does go down. So 2 kills do go over the side of Granit Gaming. They start to close this experience gap that has formed, solid level lead over to the WildHeart crew still, but this is 1,964 shielding to the side of Granit Gaming as they grab the second objective. But Grubby, I believe we got the little replay here for us to break down.
Yeah, so you have to fight here, and this is totally fine for WildHeart because they have the Bruiser camp pushing at the same time. They're fully focusing on Anubarak, and Lunara kind of not getting looked at. You see Skok there on the top line, on the top part of the fight, just getting free poison damage in. He's not getting hit at all. Neither was Li Ming. So you've got these 2 hyper-mobile assassins that can do anything they want, be greedy, get the priority shots in and all that. And by the way, nice objective win here for Granit.
Yep.
And it's Red Robot that remains the full focus of attention for Granit Gaming to be focused, which is why I like that he has the build that he has, full Carapace build.
Yeah.
I think he recognized that anytime you're against Junkrat Stitches or Junkrat Garrosh or Junkrat, screw it, you are going to have a bad time as a tank that cannot cleanse while standing still, which is what Anubarak has. He's no Johanna, he's no Maze, no Leoric. So yeah, full defense build, recommended. And may even want to get the level 20 armor, the extra armor, hardened carapace, whatever it's called, I don't know. Nerubian King, I believe.
There, I just want to note also
Pretty
the level
king.
13 for Weary Day actually went heavy casters. We've been seeing it a little bit here and there in CCL. It's not a super common pick at 13, but the nice thing about it is now your push off no longer slows. Instead, it stuns for 0.5 seconds, which I think that's really, really good for a gap closer for Tremor. Earlier, Weary Day getting the push offs, the slows, he could pop the Indomitable, the Garrosh, I mean Tremor, and then he can just walk right in. This stun, that 0.5 seconds, that's a nice opportunity for Tremor to then to do a Groundbreaker, a Warlord's Challenge. There's a lot of playability off this heavy casters that synergizes with Tremor very well. Liking what we're seeing from WildHeart. And I'm curious, Grubby. Actually, hold on, I'm gonna hold that thought. Tremor getting dove right here. He throws a combo back and he gets chunked. Slug Hunter split from the team, tries to dive away, and will be able to disengage. My question to you, Grubby, is do you want to jump into some comms? Because I think we have the opportunity right here.
Yeah, let's jump into Granit Gaming.
In we go.
If we...
You can tap if you want.
Gonna...
You had time.
No. Reddit's showing them.
Wave in 10.
Yeah, don't commit, just poke.
Tracer bot side.
Stun him.
You're all above?
Come back out.
Oh,
I'm
help.
You good?
fucked. He fucked up. No, I'm dead.
Okay.
I got interrupted.
Can we kill Tire?
Let's go out.
Play defensive position.
Fall
I
back.
feel like you-
Pre-tapping
Garrosh
if
is
you
below.
can. Pre-tapping mid quick. Care.
Trap here. It's a massive bot wave.
Play from same side. They don't have taunt.
I think I just get bot wave and we wait for Ogre. Play a second.
Okay, sure. I'm gonna take top wave quick.
How do you want to play these fights?
Care bot so they don't
Probably
Omega
have
run
to
into now.
like cocoon Nidal, right? Or one of the...
We need to walk up.
No, actually they open it inside.
Yeah.
It's a trap here. Careful.
There's Garrosh.
Okay.
Just drop
Seven,
damage
seven,
on him.
Garrosh away.
Or drop damage, drop damage. Lucy's trying to cleanse.
No high five on that guy.
You chase
Yeah.
him now. Oh. Now they're gonna get taunted.
I don't have
Oh wow.
anything right now.
Yeah, that's shit.
They
Lucy
have
is so
five with the
annoying.
cocoon. It's so annoying.
Lucy is actually too good.
Unfortunately for the members of Granite Gaming, they will lose 3 members, and they will lose this 3rd immortal of the game, Grubby, which is going to yield a lot of shielding, and Alarian will move into top lane, the more well-defended lane on the side of Granite Gaming. But it looks like Tremor Zergling, they're considering to push bottom lane, little split push pressure from the side of WildHeart.
Tough situation there. They made the call to focus Garrosh, and they got close. 95% damage
Yep.
on him.
Yep.
But then they did the classical chase around the corner, and Jarell, Slug Hunter, he just owned them. Hammer from behind, everybody got stunned. And then, like, you just know you're just waiting for the guillotine to fall with your head on the chopping block. And yeah, Swampcrota never got to cast his Shockwave, just like the fight before. It's tough. Now, split situation, both actually something that must be reacted to. 5 heroes and the Immortal, and neither can be won quickly. So very smart split by WildHeart.
I like what they're doing in this. I love what we saw Tremor do there for a second. He checked the bush, and I don't know if a Nubrak Beetle came out while a Nubrak was in the bush, or if it was just intuition from Tremor. I'd have to go back and look at the VOD, but still, really just good intuition in general from Tremor to check the bush with the ground breaker. Oh my god! What a synergy! Holy, they're playing volleyball with a Hogger!
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Like, he didn't get to play the game. Like, what got him first? Was it the Junkrat?
Concussion Mine into the Groundbreaker, into the toss. Pulse Bomb and a Nubrak will kind of fall to the same fate in a sense. As the keep does go down in WildHeart, they're not going to overextend through this bottom lane. 15 seconds on Hogger, 30 on a Nubrak. It looks like it's going to be time to paint the map blue, grab some camps, get some pressure out, maybe look for 20s, or just wait for the next Immortal phase.
Yeah, just when you... A lot of this comes down to, a lot of this comes down to the synergy between Junkrat and Garage. We can look at it again.
Please,
It starts with that concussive. So you've kind of got Hogger thinking, as we start the replay, Hogger thinking, I'm safe here. I throw some dynamite. Going back. Look at Hogger. Just look at Hogger.
Yep.
Oh, he just walked into the trap.
Yeah.
Oh.
Steel traps.
Yeah. I mean, that's just 100% his mistake. The synergy follow-up is good, but it's against a rooted target. It wasn't like a blind concussive being thrown out there.
Right.
He's going forward, going back. He just forgot where he was. Look, Red Robot could make the exact same mistake now if he wanted. He could just walk into the trap, and then he would get... Like, they will have his way with him. You can't have that happen.
He's got to play it safe, and they will do so on the side of Granite Gaming. I believe this is the 4th Immortal phase of the game spawning here in the north-south positioning. For anyone wondering, like, how to predict in your own games where your Immortal that you have to race will be, the Immortals will always show to your vision, but when we're casting, it always shows the blue side vision. So the shield will be the defensive Immortal for WildHeart. The axe, which will be where Zergling is positioned right now, is going to be the Granite Gaming Immortal. So if you're ever wondering on the minimap what is being shown, it's the perspective of WildHeart or the blue side team. But here comes a combo onto a Nubrak. He's able to survive through a lot of this initial damage. Chattering Teeth going to zone back Henning. There is a concussion mine that does get blown on the ground as well. Skoog stepping forward a little far forward. Yeah, Granite needs to chase. Cocoon on Tracer.
The blow-up failed on Anubrak. They need to move here and make this work. They need to convert a kill. Like, that's the counterattack moment. Warlord's challenge is down. I don't think it's enough to get 50% here. They were slow and hesitant to lay the chase, and while some chases can be bad, WildHeart had already shown their hand and had blown everything. Now WildHeart is suddenly more healthy. There's more damage on the side of Granite. They do a bit of damage. It's not even 50%, and they need to fall back to the Bruiser. That's why they needed to go so fast and get another kill.
I love how WildHeart played that. And as you were saying, Grubby, like, WildHeart, they blew all of that. They blew their potential kill. And so instead of WildHeart saying, oh, we can poke, we can do this, we can do that, WildHeart just kind of floats. They back off, they float on the left side, they float to their retreat area, and then when they have the ability to kind of step back in, because the members of Granite show through the bottom lane, clearing that massive wave out, that's when WildHeart can step back in, go for that race potential, and still, that gap is there, about a 2-level lead for the side of WildHeart, but they're also looming. They're on the precipice of that 20 talent, and there is some trickle experience as Robot gets thrown in. Warlord's challenge comes in. There's going to be the toss onto a Nubrak. He's going to get bursted, but so is Garrosh. Gia trying to find the counter kill. Tremor will go down. That's a reset to Li Ming, but here's Urel. She's 1v2ing per se. Gia gets out with some 30 HP. The Riptire to try and chase in, but Henning's the new target. Lunara goes down. Stukov goes down. A Nubrak will fall. Gia with the outplay and gets the counter kill into the Urel, and there is also a Garrosh to fall on top of all of this. 2 for 1, but WildHeart will be the victor in this Immortal phase race.
So in this case, Anubrak actually stepped into a trap just to clear it, knowing that sometimes somehow that's the way you have to start it, and he got the full comboed again. I gotta say, Junkrat is super on point with his positioning. Zergling continually in the position to concussive follow up on any traps that get triggered. Like, it's insane. He'll take the maglev train to a location where he heard someone got trapped, and he'll get there in time with the concussive. You can see how, in this replay that we're going to show, Skog steps into the trap to clear it, gets everything. Shockwave actually helps a lot from Swamp Grubba. Then he gets pushed into a trap, very ironic, by the Riptire. and you have Anubrak getting blown up without even being able to use Cocoon. And that's kind of normal. The moment he got flipped in, all he could do was just cast Catapace and die. And then you had Skulk, actually did a great job. A lot of damage coming in, but it wasn't enough. There was just too much control from Junkrat in general. The Riptire, second trap on Hager on the flank, made sure that there were no frontliners left to compete there. And while Tremor did end up falling, it took a lot out of Granit Gaming.
We did have a bit of delay on grabbing this Immortal that allowed WildHeart to get to their 20s and also respawn all of their teammates as well. We have these 20s, and the biggest thing that I want to point out is going to be that extra oomph for the Junkrat. He hits 3 heroes, he gets a reset on his Riptire. Every hero he hits is 25 seconds off the 75-second heroic cooldown. We also have that Titanic Might at level 20, which is going to synergize extremely well with the Mortal combo. And Tremor, he's been nailing these toss plus groundbreakers left and right in this map. So Mortal combo, I'm excited to see. Here it comes. There's going to be the Warlord Challenge midair. The Shattering Teeth will come in. So much disruptive damage onto Red Robot. He tries to back away, but it's not going to work out. Extra oomph value, 1, 2, 3. That's a Riptire reset. And he might go for another one right now as Alarian pushing in through this top lane, starting to scratch the shielding of the core right now. There's the other Riptire coming out. Lunara goes down. The Riptire, I think, dealt a little damage to the core right there as the Immortal deals nearly 2,000 damage into the structures per auto attack. And ladies and gentlemen, Grubby as well. We have got game number 1 going over to the side of WildHeart. A really good back and forth through the mid game, but WildHeart, they met my expectations. Like they kind of hit that power spike at 10 and just started just to constantly put pressure and pressure and pressure into Granit Gaming, and this became a 20-4 in kills for the side of WildHeart. But Justin, I'm sure you saw through a lot more interesting things than we did, and can you break down any sort of awesome moments from this Battlefield of Eternity map?
Yeah, so it was pretty apparent coming out the gates that WildHeart had just a better synergy in this game. They played better as a team. I would give my MVP for sure to Tremor. I'd say this game was kind of a tank diff. The Granit Gaming's comp, this was kind of a situation for Red Robot where it felt like he was getting bullied quite a bit. When you pick a Nubarak, this is kind of a similar situation to what we've had previously, where sometimes you have to play completely differently. It's like how we saw Muradin yesterday, where he was just getting booped by a bunch of things, and he was unable Caesar Salad was unable to play the game the way that he normally plays the game on his hero. And that's kind of the same thing I think Red Robot was dealing with here on a Nubarak. Against the Garrosh, you don't get to play a Nubarak the same way. If you burrow in and you go for those aggressive plays, you just die because Garrosh can throw you, and then you're just out of position. You have no E, you have no way to get out. So you have to play a much more defensive style. He's got a poke composition within a Nubarak, and you could tell that they would spend so many resources trying to kill Tremor in these fights that the fight's just over by then. This was like really, really good by Slug Hunter especially. He went the damage reduction build. So when he goes in on the backline, Lunara and Li Ming, they don't really have any % damage, so he can completely negate a lot of it. And once you kind of start losing a fight to Mason Blaze on the Tracer, he can really, really clean up. In a straight 5v5, Mason Blaze doesn't really get to do much. You can tell that he has to play super far back in pretty much all the fights. But as soon as they get that one kill, then Mason Blaze is free to just do whatever he wants. In a 5v4, it's completely different for the Tracer and how she gets to play the game. So I'd say Tremor and Mason Blaze really had great synergy that game. Zergling as well kind of popped off on the Junkrat, and just overall really good synergy on the side of WildHeart. And you could tell that Swamp Grata and Red Robot really just not understanding their team's win conditions, that they're a poke composition, that they need to play super safe, and that their win condition is basically just never getting flipped and just playing at that range. You kind of had to play like a ranged Nubarak that game and just only press Q defensively. And you could tell that that's not his normal playstyle, and he kind of fell into the trap. And WildHeart just looked way too coordinated. So even though the early game kind of went pretty Granit favored, they weren't getting the kills, but they were getting the objectives because they had the better poke. In the end, WildHeart really pulling ahead through that mid to late game when they were just winning the team fights. And yeah, WildHeart looking a lot scarier here in this week of CCL.
WildHeart definitely putting in a lot of work between week number 4 and week number 5 right now. And on the note of Zergling, I would agree with you 100%. Didn't die a single time. Had nearly 100% kill participation, 3 kills, 16 assists. The highest siege damage, nearly the highest heroic damage, as well as the highest experience for his team. So just literally MVPing through all the stats and everything like that. So just well played from the side of WildHeart. And they are really starting out strong in this second best of 5 of the day. Liking what we're seeing with WildHeart today. Definitely a reinvigorated team. I think last weekend, up against 30K, like, I don't know, maybe the synergy wasn't there. Maybe 30K was just a more dominant team, but It's just WildHeart looked like they just couldn't find their footing. They couldn't just synergize like they are today, because that alley-oop with the Hogger through the bottom lane, Justin, oh my god, like, it's such a short clip, but I really want to put it in our top 5 of the week because it was just such a cool moment of being able to layer your basic abilities and a heroic in there as well, or actually 2, because the Pulse Bomb and Warlord's Challenge. So just cool plays so far from the side of WildHeart. Do you think they can continue this momentum up against Granit Gaming, or can Granit Gaming kind of put a stop to this?
I think a lot of it has to do with the map they were on. Battlefield of Eternity is a map where you're allowed to be kind of that 4-man, that 5-man quite often, and that's something that I've spoke on previously about WildHeart, is they're a team that is probably the best in straight up 5v5s. If every single game was on Infernal Shrines and they could just stand there and fight you in a 5v5 where they're all together, then they might be the best team. But when they get on the maps where they have to split up a lot more and there's a lot more kind of split decision making, like Dragonshire, for example, it just looks a lot worse. They really rely on each other for that coordination, that synergy to win games. And I think that, yeah, depending on what map they go to, it might really kind of hinder that, because Granite Gaming, I think, might perform quite a lot better on a big macro map like First Hollow.
Well, I do believe we will have our map ready for everyone at home here in just a second, and it's going to be some exciting stuff because, as I mentioned at the start of this best of 5, we've only seen 10 maps, well, now 11 maps from WildHeart, and we actually got that map ready to go, so we can let you know where we're going to go to for map number 2 in this second best of 5 of the day, and it is going to be Towers of Doom, chosen by the side of WildHeart as Granite Gaming, the losing side, opting in for first pick priority. And a little fun fact here, Grubby, both of these teams are winless on Towers of Doom. Both these teams have lost twice. So one of these teams will find their first victory, one of these teams will find their third loss. Exciting stuff for Towers of Doom, in my opinion.
Yeah, 1 Towers of Doom, 1 Towers of Good Omens, apparently, as one of them will get their first victory here. Let's see which one it's going to be. WildHeart looked a little stronger there in that first game, quite a bit stronger. Was it just the draft or the map, or was it an overall power imbalance? We shall see on the second map of the series as we get the draft underway.
I'm excited for Towers of Doom. A lot of really cool things we could see here. Of course, the Vikings, Samuro, Abathur, Cho'Gall, we got a nice Stitches. So it's just a lot of really cool stuff that we can see. But any expectations from you, Justin, when it comes to draft style from either side?
Yeah, this is a Medivh map. This is a Stitches map. We've got Zergling, one of the best Medivhs, and Tremor, one of the best Stitches. So I wouldn't be surprised to see some pressure in the draft based around those picks, either forcing bans out from Granite with their second rotation, or WildHeart just picking those things early on. Junkrat is still available, which is also one of Zergling's favorites, and it is a soft counter to Medivh. Junkrat prioritization has seemed to be kind of hit or miss for certain teams. Some teams just seem to not like playing it, so they just permanently ban it. Some teams like WildHeart love playing it, so they'll always leave it up if they can. And so, yeah, I think a Junkrat, if it's not picked here, is either picked by WildHeart or banned later on, and to allow them to play the Medivh if it's not a... Yeah. So I would expect Zergling just takes the Junkrat. Yeah. Because he's so comfortable on it, and it is a soft counter to Medivh. But, yep, there it is. And they got the Dahaka on Towers of Doom, so pretty scary opener for WildHeart on this map.
Little stat for everyone at home, the WildHeart Dahaka. Actually, oh, sorry, I had my stats backwards. The WildHeart Dahaka is 1-2, so it is not the strongest pick for them right now. And maybe it does boil down to being this global map, Grubby, where WildHeart has to make rotations between top and bottom, or excuse me, top and mid with their solo laner, and then focus on that 4v4. As Justin was saying, WildHeart thrives in the 5v5, so maybe this is the Achilles heel for WildHeart on these bigger maps?
Well, WildHeart made sure to remove 2 globals and pick a global. It's like they're saying, like, first of all, that's just really sound strategy on this map, but it's also like they're saying, we like that 4-on-4, 5-on-5 situation. If anything, we don't want to get out macroed by things that do not require a lot of team synergy per se, just by good pushers, good side lane pushing, XP disadvantage. We don't want to lose to that. Let's see you guys play on normal heroes with relatively normal mount speed, and then see how we go in a 5-on-5. I think this exudes confidence, and almost inexplicably, they are given again that Junkrat, just like Justin was portraying is going to be happening.
I was wondering if we would see a respect onto the Garrosh, and it is going to be there. So, is this going?
Stitches then.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's easy.
You Grubby, it's like
You were gonna say it.
I was gonna say it. You were gonna say it. It's like we could pilot a Jaeger together. We're drift compatible, Grubby.
What's a Jaeger?
I can't. How
This
you
guy
gonna?
isn't American
Diablo.
enough. Damn it.
It's from Pacific Rim.
Getting Stukov Diablo in the 3-4 for WildHeart is kind of ridiculous. I mean, just Stukov primarily first pick, first banned. Getting that after the second ban phase is kind of insane. I don't think they should have gotten that there. So WildHeart's draft's looking extremely scary. They might be making the same mistake of previously leaving the option for Tychus to be available up into the Diablo, but they do have, hypothetically, they could still go into Medivh if they were to have picked Tychus. Obviously it's not, it's the Kerrigan and the Varian. So a lot of CC. They might be looking for even a Zarya, something with another cleanse. They're definitely going to want either some kind of protection, like Medivh or a Zarya, or something that is just super... I mean, yeah, they either need disengage or like a cleanse. Maybe... I'm expecting a Zarya or a Medivh here, even though Medivh might be a little weird, so we'll see. It could just be like a Sylvanas or something. And yeah, there it is.
I do not like Varian and Kerrigan together.
Why is that?
Just like earlier today. Well, as Kerrigan, when you go in, you die or you kill, basically.
Okay.
And you want a tank that kind of disrupts everybody. Kind of someone that jumps into the arena and throws sand into everybody's eyes. Someone that looks like they're nearly going to die because they overextended. You want that to be a Muradin. You want it to be maybe a Johanna that can blind everybody. Varian has no defensive capabilities for a fellow diver. Yrel a little bit, but we have like this massive front line, just like earlier from Chili Mountain. Varian, Kerrigan. I don't really get it. And as someone who's played loads of Kerrigan, one of my most played heroes, not saying I'm fantastic, but I played her a lot.
Sure.
I don't like playing into Junkrat Stukov. Like at all. I don't think that goes well when there's a puddle, when there's traps everywhere. It's tough.
It's gonna be a tough game. But as we're loading in, Justin, I gotta get your quick thoughts on these drafts and who wins.
Yeah, I definitely agree with Grubby. I think that Varian only sets up the one shot on one target, which is extremely telegraphed. Kerrigan kind of wants to do more AoE type stuff. If you're focusing one target, you're probably not going to work, especially against Stukov. And yeah, I'm heavily favoring WildHeart's draft in this game. I think they've got the 4-man that's really strong with the Dahaka who can split, so they're not going to run into that problem of being split up across the map. I think that this kind of just enables them to play that 5v5 that they should be winning, and I'm expecting Tremor this game to be pretty invincible on Diablo.
Well, thank you, Justin, for the analysis, the breakdown, as well as your thoughts on the draft, because we are loaded on into Towers of Doom. We'll see you after this map, and Grubby and I will get to casting this next awesome game. We got WildHeart Esports in the blue, Zergling on the Junkrat, Slug Hunter on the Dahaka, Weary Day to play the Stukov, Tremor on the Diablo, and Mason Blaze will be on the Sylvanas. Over on the side of Granit Gaming, we will be seeing Lunara to be played by Skoog, G on the Kerrigan, Red Robot on the Varian, Svampgrata on the Yrel, and heading to play the Anduin. I'm leaning into a WildHeart win as well, and I also agree with you and Justin, Grubby, as I think that this Kerrigan, it is they're very much trying to go for the one shot. I kind of feel, and correct me if I'm wrong, Chromie wasn't banned, so why not go for like a Chromie instead if you're looking for the single target big blow up, and she has more poke potential. You can get vision with her. I feel like Chromie would have been a smarter and healthier choice for this draft for Granit Gaming.
Yeah, I think the draft leaves much to be desired. I think even against a nameless, faceless team of WildHeart, that draft does not look fantastic, just even by itself from Granit. I think it would work in Storm League maybe, but overall I don't think it's like fantastically drafted together. It doesn't have the same synergies like a Garrosh Junkrat, for instance, has. And now they don't even have Varian Stukov, which at least was a redeeming factor in the game on Infernal Shrines by Chili Mountain. And then when you consider what it's against, it just misses all the classical counters that we usually see, where if there's a Diablo, you want your own Garrosh or Tychus, or Malthael, something really that deals with it. Kerrigan overall does seem like she falls off a lot against the best meta teams, and so I'm not even sure she's a good hero in general. She's got like a huge win rate in Storm League, but in competitive, not so much.
In competitive, we will be seeing Varian fall, Skoog to go down, a solid double kill to the members of WildHeart, with just such a good lineup for Tremor and Zergling. Once again, Zergling, Concussion Mine, and then just the lineup from Tremor. Tremor has definitely done his geometry homework, lining up these shadow charges with Diablo. Well played at the start up against Granit Gaming, and this will be WildHeart stealing the sappers from the right-hand side. of Granit moving back over to their own. WildHeart putting pressure through the bottom lane, opening up Towers of Doom quite quickly. I like that they left Zergling on this to allow more pressure to be applied throughout the lanes, to put pressure onto Swamp Grotto, who's doing double soak, who often doesn't get threatened, and also to build up more Diablo stacks. So there's actually a fight in top lane. If we can take a look at Kerrigan versus Dahaka. Oh, they're just waiting. They're just sustaining. They're just sustaining until the rest of the team comes.
And who's going to be their first Stukov? That means she's dead before help arrives, I think. No, actually, she's going to be 5%. Ah, yeah, right before Yrel comes in. Just slightly quicker there for WildHeart. And the thing is, Kerrigan needed to know that her allies are going to get there first. She needed to be sure in order to continue that. Well done.
Nice outplay. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, I think he played well last game too. And
yes, I agree.
With the kill on Junkrat. But Kerrigan needed to know that because Kerrigan doesn't even closely begin to win that fight against Dahaka. So he needed to know his allies were coming. Shouldn't have taken that fight in this way.
And also, I just looked really quickly how much damage Weary Day did, because Stukov did get that last auto attack. Just a casual 331 damage from Stukov with one auto attack. So yeah, it's like, I'm sure Kerrigan probably had like some couple hundred health, and she was like, oh no, Stukov hit me, and that's basically like a bus. Mid lane channeled immediately. Dahaka will be delayed out by the Varian, but Junkrat's working his way up. And I'm looking at minimap because look at Skugin bottom. Yeah, Skugin bottom is going to get dove again. As I said, Tremor has done his geometry homework, lines up another perfect shot. Mason Blaze with the sustained damage. A fourth kill over to the side of WildHeart as they continue to pressure out Towers of Doom map number 2.
I love the way WildHeart played that because they took mid first, then they were slow to take top left. They start taking it. And Variant comes in with the interrupt. So that I ask, to what end? Why interrupt? You never steal that one as the red team. You never get to steal it. So what are you buying time for? And what are you hoping? That WildHeart comes to defend it as 4 or 5? Making the inevitable even more inevitable? No, says WildHeart. We know inevitable is inevitable. We don't need to add any fuel to the fire. Let's go 3 bot, abuse the fact that you're still looking at the top lane and we'll gank your Lunara. That was smart. And Granit Gaming was punished for it very appropriately.
Slug Hunter on this Dahaka has the read for everyone's positioning, and the drag max range. Solid triple kill over to the side of WildHeart. Oh my god, it's WildHeart. They 7-1 in kills. Grubby. They are trending that nearly 2 kills a minute.
That's it's pretty brutal. I think at some point, like, this game could just make it 3-0. This game.
Oh my god.
Where this is going. Do you think we should introduce that, like, where if a team wins hard enough, it counts for 2?
Oh yeah,
Probably not.
that'll be. You know, I'm sure the teams would love that. I don't think
I
it's
thought it was
single.
a bad idea, but now that you've said it, I'm getting more confident about it.
Not a single person will complain. Not a single person will bother Jules about the changes. No, this is actually. Hold on, Gia. Big dive. Tremor. He's taking a lot of damage. Gia gets thrown around by the concussion mine. Here comes Tremor with the shadow charge, and that will be Sylvanas with the sustained damage to find the kill. But it's not over just yet. There is going to be a yoink onto Swamp Grotto, so maybe it is that just yet. But Red Robot's on an island all by himself. His son can't save him, and this is going to be Red Robot going down. Another set of kills over to the side of WildHeart, and 4 more shots into the Granit Gaming core as the Sapper runs his way into bottom lane, getting damage into the bottom lane fort. And this will be a fort converted over to the side of WildHeart. And now, Grubby, we got a replay of that triple kill. Can you break it on down for us?
Well, I will try. Things are already broken enough, I think. They try to go in on Zergling. He gets stunned, but you know, there's only one range DPS, and he is attacking Diablo. Because he knew a trap is coming. He knew he wouldn't be able to make Skulk knew he wouldn't be able to make it to Zergling on time because of the trap. He could only hit Diablo, and that's their only ranged assassin. It's purely spell damage based. And Diablo has Soul Shield. So they can neither kill Diablo, nor can they go past traps, and Diablo is Lunara. So you're always gonna have Kerrigan and Varian jumping in on someone and wondering where the hell is our DPS? As this might be the best odds that Granit Gaming has so far. 5 versus 1. But Slug Hunter, that wisp, you see that wisp?
Yeah.
That revealed that he was seen.
Sentinel Wisp was taken at level 1, and for anyone that's wondering what we're talking about, keep an eye out. If someone from the side of WildHeart is within the Sentinel Wisp range, what will happen is there's a red dot that goes over the head. You can actually see kind of like whenever someone enters a bush, there's kind of like a bluish, whitish over their head. So that red one means the enemy can see you, but now Red Robot, he's going to be diving, pulled around. Sun going to try and save him. Light Bomb onto Gia. Riptire comes out and kills the Kerrigan. Weary Day, can you survive? The damage over time will find the kill into Stukov, but the fight's not over yet. Apocalypse is popped. There's a drag onto Urel, and once again, WildHeart find a triple kill. They do lose the Stukov, but this is fine for WildHeart. It's a single objective phase. 5 shots should rain into the Granite Gaming core, and this will be Sappers potentially push into bottom. No, actually, death timers are way too short. We should see a defense from the side of Granite Gaming in this bottom lane. Should.
That was the second kill, though, for Granite Gaming. Skog this time was able to go deep and get some leaping strikes on Stukov, securing the kill. But that's pretty much all the bandwidth that this team has to get 1, maybe 2 kills in a single fight. They don't really have enough multi-focus with this one. Ideally, Kerrigan does like ravage, 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 somebody dies, then she goes to the next. But it's tough here. Level difference-wise, she's not very friendly on trying to get comebacks. That's a nice combo on Weary Day. He gets 50 physical armor, though. Then 50 armor from the shove. Wait, does he have the armor talent? It was just from the shove, actually. He doesn't have the level 4 physical.
Correct, yeah.
So, just massive shove into the gate. That's going to be a cool play. And suddenly, Red Robot by himself. He tried to come in on the flank, and he must be shocked how quickly that mid-engagement ended and how quickly 5 members are here to wait for him. Because he just wanted to help, man.
That sounds like me in my own games. Like, I'll die to something stupid, main tanking, and just be like, I'm sorry, team. I was just trying to help. They're like, no, it's okay. Like, we're behind. Like, at this point, it's just you got to try and do anything. Anything is better than nothing at this point, because it is such. It's just WildHeart. They are everywhere and anywhere on this map. Like Tremor, Gia's trying to clear in front of his gate and can't do it because Tremor comes in and gets a shadow charge on the tower wall. That's a very small kind of window or angle to hit that nice shadow charge, but the Apocalypse is used. Light Bomb does come out. Ardent Defender as well for Urel. Tremor getting bopped around. He does have full souls. Concussion Mine throws Varian into the front wall of this fort, and Diablo souls will be reset. That's a big win for Granite Gaming. The drag from Slug Hunter will not connect. Weary Day getting low, and here comes the... Oh, wait, hold on. That's going to be a steel trap onto Swamp Grotto, who was trying to dive away, but still, this is a really... Oh, no! Sylvanas gets the last little bit of damage. Dahaka does go down. Maybe Granite Gaming can rally here. Maybe they can find the double channel.
Well, they're still really low, and Henning not able to really heal people up. The question is going to be, do they have fountain cooldowns? I don't know if I can see that.
You can. It's just underneath the mana bar. It's the if you click on Variant, it's 108.
Yeah. Okay, so they all went for a tap. They trade 1 for 1, which is worth 3 for 5. So actually, the first big good result, triple kill for Granite. Not able to get that much out of it. Kerrigan now trying to get the combos. The Ravages up. We're going to look at the most successful fight so far in the series for Granite Gaming. As we have that replay ready, how were they able to extend and get multiple kills? They basically just focused Diablo. Like everyone focusing him. It's a huge 4-man silence. Vampirota jumps in, gets that damage in. Skog, look at Skog here on Lunara. He's like, hey, I'm gonna go for Weary Day together with Red Robot, even as Gia and Henning ran away for their lives. Rel here gets trapped in the bush. And then suddenly, Dahaka by himself. Lunara fell to what nearly looked like a concussive that saved her. One more auto from Sylvanas kept her safe there. Well, that was a good fight. Now back on the back foot once again is Granite Gaming.
Big Riptire does push back the enemy team, and 1, 2, 3 Sappers go over the wall. 7 HP remains on the side of Granite Gaming's core. And the one thing that I wanted to note during that replay that we just saw, is I was looking back at it. If we take every single fight that WildHeart's done in this Towers of Doom map, that looked the weakest for WildHeart. They looked the most split. Yeah. They looked the most confused as to what they should do in the sense of who they wanted to target, because Slug Hunter was zoning back Gia and Henning, but then there was still the fight onto Tremor, as we actually have a fight right here. Light Bomb, Tremor the target, Diablo pops the Apocalypse, he's just trying to live with these fire stomps. The Kerrigan goes down. The leaping strikes from Lunara should kill Tremor, but no, the healing from Weary Day is so on point, and it's going to be the members of Granite Gaming falling apart. They have 7 HP remaining. 2 altars are necessary. Dahaka chasing Red Robot away. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be the fastest Towers of Doom game in CCL history, because we are going to be ending this game sub 12 minutes. 11 minutes and about 50 seconds to the side of WildHeart. They speedrun map number 2 in a dominant 17-5 kill fashion. Well played from WildHeart. They are back this week with a vengeance after losing 3-0 to 30K last a couple weeks ago. It's such a good game from them, Grubby, honestly.
Yeah, 17 kills in 17 levels is pretty insane. And while I didn't think it was the very best draft for Granite, they did win like 1 fight, so good job to them just trying. They were focusing Diablo, which is what Varian wants. It's not really what anyone else wants on that team, but it's what Varian wants, and they made it work, and then got a few kills afterwards. But overall, it's looking tough for them. WildHeart, though, looks so strong. They may have given a similar treatment to another team with this kind of performance. Then again, they were given so much. Best offlaner, best ranged assassin, best healer, and one of the best tanks. They were given all that, and then Sylvanas as well.
Well, we got Justin back in, because I'm sure you got a lot to highlight from that last game.
Yeah, what a bloodbath from WildHeart. They really took control of that game almost entirely from start to finish. There was the one little blip in the mid game where they fought around mid and they did get 3-for-1 and they lost the souls, but even when they lose the fight, they still end up just trading objectives evenly 1-for-1, but it's not even an even trade because WildHeart still had control of the bot keep during it. So even in after the best case scenario fight for Granite Gaming, they still trade evenly on shots. Well, actually behind on shots. They still trade evenly just getting objectives. So really, really rough for Granite Gaming. You could tell in the early game too, Red Robot seemed a little bit lost. He was never really with his team, and WildHeart was capitalizing on that the most they possibly could. They were catching Red Robot just in rotations all the time, and Skog was kind of just floating around in off lanes quite a bit. But without Lunara, Granite Gaming really has no kill threat, especially not against Tremor on Diablo. And as much as I'd like to say that this game was just a Tremor difference, a tank difference, everyone on the side of WildHeart really enabled him and played exceptionally well. And Tremor as well, though, played a really good game of Diablo. Mm-hmm. It's cool to see. Tremor is probably the best Diablo in the league. And you could see that there, he got to like 10 HP. Yep. He gets the 10 HP and baits the entire enemy team into dying. It takes that much to try to take down the mighty Tremor on Diablo. And they just can't get it, so that's a 3-for-0, and that's how you get a 12-minute game on Towers of Doom, displayed by WildHeart.
WildHeart displaying how to speedrun that map and doing it quite effectively. Might actually have to try and schedule Tremor's Diablo for Kyle Ferguson this week, because that was so cool. Like, I kept saying that, like, Tremor did his geometry homework, but I feel like he didn't miss a shadow charge that connected into a wall. Like, you've seen those shadow charges that kind of push people, but this was like, the lineup was just spot on every single time. So just, in my opinion, like when it comes to tanking, he's been an MVP in my opinion, but definitely a lot of good plays so far from WildHeart and Granite Gaming, more so on the side of WildHeart. We are getting ready for map number 3, but as always, we take a little bit of a break before we get into this map, let everyone stretch their legs. Maybe Granite Gaming can kind of take a second, breathe a little bit, and come back with a new invigorated draft. Well, we'll have to find out after our little break. Thank you all for watching HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Welcome back to HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. My name's Bahamut, joined by Grubby and Justin. And you know, Grubby, I just made a realization. Today is one of the best holidays in December. It is Mikuláš. It's celebrated 5th and 6th depending on where you are in the world. So it's depending on where you are in the world. Happy Mikuláš in Hungarian. That's what we call it. But I believe it's Krampus. It's the guy who comes and steals children, or he leaves treats for you. 50-50. But either way, make sure you leave your boots out tonight so you get a little bit of candy left in your boots.
It was last night.
It was okay. It was last night. I was looking it up today because I always forget which day it is, and I guess it's like 5th and 6th. Yeah.
Maybe you're actually right. I haven't done that in so long. Like, I don't believe in this interclass that has a key to every door in town anymore, and that has horses. Then if you feed him carrots in your shoes at the door, then they're gonna open your door, feed the horses, and then give you candy in your shoe. Which
you don't believe that?
I
Kinda
don't
weird.
know. I have questions.
Wait. But do you believe in the man who goes down, a large man with a large sack of toys who can fit through a like very, very tiny chimney? You believe in him?
I do believe in that. Yeah.
Where do you draw the line, Grubby? Where's the line?
Santa is liquid. He's just like
Suspend belief in self-interest for gifts. That's where I draw the line. But
So
by
now-
the way, it took my
Yeah?
American friends to remind me that 52 minutes before midnight that I am in fact living one of the biggest holidays in the Netherlands right now. So thank you.
You're welcome. I'm glad I could remind you about your holiday. But either way, it's exciting stuff. We've got a map ready to go for all of you at home as we are in the midst of our second best of 5 of the day, and we are going to be heading into Volskaya Foundry. If Towers of Doom wasn't long enough, well, this is where Granite Gaming is going to say, you know what? You can't speedrun this map. No one speedruns Volskaya Foundry, so it'll be Granite Gaming, the losing team, opting for map pick priority, trying to take us to somewhere where they can maybe rally in this best of 5 series, but I gotta say, Justin, it's looking really good for WildHeart. Like I hate ever call, and I said this yesterday. Like I hate calling any sort of series, and I will watch all this and all that. But like, and I just feel like WildHeart, they're doing so well today. Like, what does Granite Gaming do? Like, is there like a core draft you can just kind of fall back on that's like easy to utilize? Like I just where's the line for Granite Gaming to kind of start pushing back against WildHeart?
First of all, I'd like to see them ban out the Junkrat. Zergling has looked extremely good on it so far. It's a contested pick in the general meta anyways. It's typically first pick banned often, so I see no reason not to ban that away, especially against Zergling. They play extremely well with that, and Volskaya Foundry is one of Junkrat's best maps. So for starters, I'd begin with that. And then also, they need to kind of try to shut down Tremor, I think, in these fights. He's kind of getting to do whatever he wants in both the first and second game with the Diablo and the Garrosh. He has felt very, very briefly under pressure, and when he is under pressure, it typically leads to too many resources being used by Granite and WildHeart just winning the fight. There's the Junkrat ban, that's good. WildHeart likely picks up the Stukov, but they might forego that because Stukov did go pretty late in priority on the last game. And they get the Lunara instead, taking that away from Granite Gaming.
Lunara has been really, really good in these games. A toxic hero, if you will, but what do you open with on the side of Granite Gaming? Like this is a very do or die map in this series because obviously it's a best of 5 and your back is up against the wall. But let's see what's going to happen here, Grubby. Stukov, you think so?
Stukov has to be picked, in my opinion. If you take the draft seriously, I mean Brightwing is gone, and Lunara offers cleanse. So Lunara Stukov are actually like low-key OP together. Not just are they the best in their roles, among the best. But she brings a cleanse where Stukov doesn't have one.
These teams hate Stukov.
Yeah,
Weird.
they think Stukov is terrible.
Yeah.
Why Stukov? Why Lucy?
Maybe they think it's the PTR patch and he has 15 less HP. So.
Oh no! Oh no!
0.0034 less regen.
It's this tiny amount. Fun fact, actually, Granite Gaming has banned out Stukov 7 times, so maybe they don't play Stukov potentially. I don't know. There's going to be a priority onto Mephisto ban, which I don't disagree with whatsoever. Mephisto's in a extremely good spot, and I think this is a phenomenal map for him as well, Justin.
Yeah, we did see also the Mephisto Lunara on Tomb by Oxygen, I believe, where they just had a ton of AoE damage that was really hard to deal with. So that seems to be a bit of a combo that people are becoming more aware of. It's just the amount of spread damage that Mephisto and Lunara combined can put out is too much for most supports to deal with. And with the Stukov bans that Granite Gaming has had, that does kind of allude to the fact that maybe they don't play Stukov, or at least they're not comfortable on it, which is a pretty big detriment in the draft because he's got so much priority, so much pivots around him in the first couple of picks typically. So I think that's also giving WildHeart a bit of flexibility. And they do go for the Tychus really early on Granite Gaming, which is a preemptive counter to Tremor. But Tremor is very good at Mei, who has a good matchup into Tychus. He can play Varian. Sonya, it is kind of a Swamp Rot special. He likes that a lot with the leap. But I'm not sure if that's going to be quite enough. Sonya is quite the detriment against a lot of the tanks that Tremor likes to play. But I do think he could go Mei to try to counter the Tychus.
I'm just waiting for these last picks to come out. Okay, it's gonna be Hanzo. I was a little not confused, but I was a little interested as to why there was a Leoric ban priority, and I guess maybe it's just Slug Hunter doesn't want to go up against that in the solo lane, doesn't want to deal with the Entombs, and that makes actually a lot of sense because there's not a ton per se to deal with. for those Entombs, and Entomb plus a Malfurion root would be great. But Justin, we're going to get through this last pick here in a second, and I do want to get your thoughts on these drafts, because that's a Zeratul to come out from Granit Gaming.
Yeah, that does change things a bit. I do like the kind of going into this significantly more aggressive draft from Granit Gaming. They have the Leap, they have Zeratul, they have potentially a Falling Sword to make them unstoppable after they go in. Oftentimes we see Johanna with Falling Sword without that Leap, and I think having that initial engage to kind of give the unstoppable to after the fact is extremely strong as follow-up. So I do kind of like what Granit has drafted. They do struggle to kill Varian, which is a bit of a problem, as it has been in the series so far. If you don't have the tools to kill Tremor, he kind of just smurfs on you. So I do kind of also like the pivot onto Zeratul. I think while Zergling is really comfortable on Junkrat, he's not completely comfortable on all of the squishy range, as he is relatively new to the flex role. So potentially we could see Zergling getting punished, but also Varian or Tremor on Varian is probably the best tank against Zeratul, so it might be a little bit hard for him to even get in, especially if he's trying to go that wormhole Q build. So overall, I'd say the drafts are a little bit more even than the last game, but I'm still favoring WildHeart. They just seem to have so much, they look so dominant in the previous two games, and I think that Tremor is in a similar situation where he should be invincible. So I'm going with a WildHeart win.
Well, Justin, thank you for the breakdown as always, and we'll see you after Volskaya Foundry. We'll see how long this map goes, because we're loaded on in, ladies and gentlemen, and we could be seeing our final map of the day with WildHeart in the blue up in the advantage spot in this best of 5 series. We got Slug Hunter on the Blaze, Hanzo to be played by Zergling, Mason Blaze on the Lunara, Tremor on the Varian, and Weary Day on the Lucio. Over in the Granite Gaming side, we're looking at Skoog on the Tychus, Gia on the Zeratul, Henning on the Malfurion, Red Robot to play the Johanna, and Svumgrada on the Sonya. I'm going to call for a WildHeart win as well, Grubby. Think they got the momentum, think they got the playstyle, and I think they also have some very good synergy today as a complete roster. We didn't jump into comms in the last game because it was just, there's so many, the moments where we could get in, it was just the fights were over before we could even consider jumping into those comms, but maybe we'll do it for this game. But of course, Grubby, I have to get your thoughts on the draft and maybe what could happen here on Volskaya Foundry.
Yeah, Baha. So this is actually an interesting study position, because we have Varian a few times today from our lower ranked teams, and it was always paired up with a Kerrigan. And I think the reason you pick Varian is because he's able to survive by himself on the front line, and he enables backliners not to need to worry about his life, and therefore they can just focus fire whoever he taunts with their max damage. They lower survivability, but their max damage, because he doesn't mind being alone on the front line. That's why this draft is a little better. That's ironic, though. I mean, that's a curse, all right. I think this is a better situation for Varian, because Hanzo and Lunara can follow up and get that burst damage in, unlike Kerrigan, Hager, for instance, in some of the other games. So I think it's a better position for him, and I think we'll see why. Even though, we'll say, besides that little death there, he doesn't love having to go into Zeratul, because that means he can't just ignore his own backline.
I'm wondering if this Hanzo kill could be the hint at maybe a not reformed, but a Granite Gaming that could bring things back, because Weary Day, he's got the zooms, he's going to be able to get out of there. He'll also amp it up, and Tremor just trying to get a little bit of a slow. He did go into the overpower at level 1, which does give you a cooldown on your heroic strike when you do take damage when you activate parry. So you could be seeing some extra value from like Mortal Strike coming out later with that one, as well as the Victory Rush, I believe it is at level 7. At level 4, we do have the taunt. Slug Hunter gets chunked to about 10% HP, is able to back away, but the big call from WildHeart here, Grubby, is going to be that Ida committer in the top lane area.
Yeah, and the Biotic Emitter, of course, is going to be a great tool for extra healing. Oh, they get the taunt there on Tychus. Tychus dropping real low, 144 HP. And he will survive. Well, let's see if Granite Gaming's draft is going to be able to work out this time, because they do bring a lot of pressure in. We see the very cool one-on-one build from Gia on Zeratul. I like to see it more than the Void Prison build, because it's just such a playmaker. Grubby getting attacked. Yep, that's going to be a taunt, and he will not be able to be saved. Henning just arrived a bit too late, plus not the biggest heals anyway.
Not enough healing to keep that Sonya alive, and she will fall. Control point A opening up in about 4 seconds. and we already have Tremor on the point. Let's see, really quickly, can I take stock of who's got what? We've got, I think, Fortification Camps on Tremor, Slug Hunter, and then I think it was Weary Day who has the Biotic Emitter. So quite a few items on the side of WildHeart as they were able to pick up I think they picked up the Fortification Camp on the side of Granite Gaming after getting that kill from on Sonya, and that does push them into that 7 area. WildHeart will hold this point for at least a quarter of a level while Granite Gaming tries to close this experience gap that has begun to form already 3 minutes and 30 seconds in.
Yeah, and you mentioned those comms for WildHeart. I agree. I want to hear from them. At least once per best of 5 every time, right? It's hard to kind of determine when and where, as we haven't really had big climax moments. It's mostly just some pickoffs here and there. We look at the top lane now. We see Zeratul is going pretty deep, getting a bit of damage into Hanzo, but not as much as he took himself.
Henning taking the very aggressive rotation. I think Henning had the idea that maybe like Skoog and Red Robot would be collapsing into this lane, but the collapse is actually going to be falling into the Granite Gaming side from WildHeart, as a double kill will be found onto the into the WildHeart crew, and this is going to be a Triglav Protector going into bottom lane. Only Varian inside, split soak from Zergling and the rest of WildHeart.
Yeah, it's tough to see. At this point, you know Granite Gaming is not going to be in the best mental place anymore. It's not fun to lose this way, either by maps or with how this game is going so far. You try to rally behind simple ideas of courage, of resilience, of let's just focus on this strategy, let's just focus on this hero. But usually, those are simple ideas that don't work without the synergy, experience, and confidence to back it up. And that's the thing here. We have a new roster formed with several. Well, we don't actually have a new roster, but yeah, it's just not gelling between them at this time. Not well enough, and it's tough to rally just behind a simple idea when other teams don't just have those ideas, but they also have many things that they tried in scrims that do work together.
With the couple kills that were found and the quick rotations between lanes, as well as the little bit of structure value that was found through the bottom lane as the Fort Front Gate did fall to the Varian Triglav Protector. We have 10 talent here to the side of WildHeart. Pretty standard heroics across the board. Going to be seeing that Dragon's Arrow from the Hanzo as well, looking for that big AoE lockdown, or maybe even just a little bit of follow chain CC into the Varian, taunt. Just WildHeart. Gia, goodbye.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
It's a good feeling for WildHeart. I mean, they're gonna try to respectfully end this as quickly as possible.
I think that would be the rush for them, and right now the rush is in through the top lane just to open things up and make this control point be more difficult to the side of Granite Gaming. And Granite Gaming, they're saying, you know what, we're gonna pull the idea from Simplicity and do a Mene and just hard push bottom lane, and hopefully we'll be able to get this control point C and get some decent damage in. Granite Gaming is behind in experience, but they do have at least even talent here, so maybe they can look for a fight. Man, this is just WildHeart just pushing and getting everything they want out of this lane.
Yeah, it feels really comfortable for them.
Yeah. Good leap.
There's a leap on full HP Varian.
Trying to set up some sort of chain CC with the root for Malfurion. Tremor goes in with like 25% experience or 25% HP, but he still lives. And Zeratul is actually the one threatened. Tychus goes down. Malfurion has to pop the Tranquility. Lucio deciding on which way to chase. And Hanzo agility's over the wall. Red Robot trying to back away. Leaping straight come in from Mason Blaze. And Mason Blaze has the auto attacks necessary to find the kill. A double kill to the side of WildHeart, 6-1. And WildHeart trending near a kill a minute.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know when you leap, when a level down, you leap max range, full HP Varian with the whole team behind him, that someone is going to get hurt, and it's not Varian. That was
extremely hard of a spot to be in, with the 13 talent here also being achieved from those couple kills, the structure advantage, and now control point B is open and available. 2 forts have fallen in the last minute or so in favor for WildHeart, as they are just opening up and destroying what is this Volskaya Foundry map, making this map look a lot quicker than we've seen in the past.
Well, hopefully there's a bit of scaling going on for Granite Gaming. They do have some good things to look forward to. For example, level 20 Heaven's Fury, Johanna, especially pre-patch, gonna get nerfed a bit. Johanna, as a whole, will get buffed in pretty much every way, which actually sounds pretty impressive, what she's gonna get. Not 100% sure it was totally necessary. If anything, it's going to make Blessed Shield Johanna so much better than before, because the only thing she loses is Heaven's Fury effectiveness, and everything else she gains is more Iron Skins, more damage. So it's impressive. So Blessed Shield Johanna, I think we're going to see a lot more of it post-patch, which next weekend, are we going to play with that yet?
I do believe so. If the patch comes through on Monday, which is at least the patch notes say, you know, the PTR ends on December 6th PST. So the assumption is the PTR goes down Monday, and the live patch comes through, and the teams practice on that live patch until week number 6.
So we don't have a tournament server. We'll see more Blessed Shield Johanna for sure, and less Junkrat, because he's going to get nerfed, which makes Johanna into Junkrat even better in so many ways than before. So we're definitely going to see new meta next weekend. But for now, we still have the best Heaven's Fury iteration, best version of it. We have late game Zera, late game Johanna to look forward to, and maybe those can help a bit if they get there. At this rate, I'm not sure we will get to 20 for the red team here, the orange team.
This is actually a Triglav protector to push in through top lane. There's a couple ways you can play control point B. You go to bottom and start prepping for control point C. You get the mid lane fort, which is already down, or the top lane fort, which is already down. So they're looking for top lane keep, but I don't know if they're going to be able to get it. Zeratul dives onto Weary Day. Gia takes a lot of damage from the Triglav. Typically, the Triglav is not the best to fight with. It sieges mildly good. Siege is pretty good, actually. Let me rephrase that. But it doesn't team fight good at all. Like, you look at that jump, it just kind of it tickles Red Robot. So it's Triglav. It's still got 30 seconds, 60% HP, and this just kind of seems like they're walking this around. It almost seems like they're just WildHeart's waiting for the Triglav to end so they can team fight out of it with 16 talent here. You just kind of, that's the feeling I get from the way that they're positioning. But seems also like WildHeart just wants to take advantage of whatever they can do and open up the map however they can.
Yeah, you know when Triglav does best? Oh, double leaping strike melee into Zeratul. He actually takes loads of damage. Mason Blaze did not use the healing token. He thought he can go toe-to-toe with Zeratul. He did double melee leaping strike, which actually is really hard to do. You have to make sure that you leaping strike face first into a wall both times. And then he was taking max damage from Zera. And he's like, this is cool, right? I got healing token, I got friends. And WildHeart is like, not when you're acting like this, buddy. And they let him die.
Oh man, this is wow. I do like that turnaround moment. That is really, really good for the side of Granit Gaming. Gives them a little bit of experience, pushes back the side of WildHeart for a few seconds while Lunara is dead. And that does, oh wait, hold on, Hanzo. Nice little dash from Skoogie. Gets the sidestep away from that area, because you can see Slug Hunter, he was lining up the jet propulsion to follow up and does have that collision course from level 13, which deals an additional 536 damage to the already 101. So you're going to be dealing 637 damage to the initial target. And Tychus has, that would have been, like, Tychus has 3,600 HP roughly, so that would have been a solid chunk of his HP going down.
Yeah, how much percent?
Don't make me do math. Come on, please. Come on now. You know, an eighth? An eighth? Was I right with that? An eighth of his HP?
1/8%? I'm not sure about that, man.
Sure,
I think it's a little bit more.
8%? No, an eighth of his HP bar?
Yeah.
Never liked fractions. Oh, good. Falling sword to zone back, Tremor and the rest.
So that was 2 heroics for Gia trying to 1v5 there. I get the scouting. I think what he wanted to do was pure invisibility, or he thought invisibility means invincibility. But I think he tried to lay a trap there. WildHeart arrived a little bit too early so that the trap could never be sprung. And that's why he needed evac. It's good that his team was there to give it to him. Falling Sword will be back fairly soon. Tranquility, not quite as much. And we already have WildHeart looking at the bottom fort. Maybe now is a good time to jump into some WildHeart comps.
Into WildHeart we go.
I need it.
Sonya. This is still winnable. Gia's getting fucked.
We're fine, yeah, play slow.
Still here.
I still have stun.
Yeah, they have nothing.
Content 5. Content
Okay.
4. Looking at Gia for top.
Yeah.
Watch me.
I'm just off anything.
Careful falling up soon. Zergling's out. They're on Zergling.
Okay. We need to just get out.
Yeah, it's fine. Just leave. Nice. Just live.
Yeah, we're fine.
That's
a waste of an order. Yeah.
Ah, I missed it.
Even if they get the fort, it's whatever.
Pass pushing. They're not. Sonya's gonna go top or mid.
Just
Two ways
done him.
pushing. The fort's definitely dead.
Yeah, you guys just you run.
You gotta get out slow.
Yeah, I'm fine. That's one slowing down.
Can you do camp?
Yeah, I'm going. I'm putting vision
I
on
think we
you.
just get all the camps. I'm
Nathan,
objective.
if I'm top, you gotta hug me. Like, be
Well, I just
mid.
wanted to face check the bush for Sonya, but that's obviously bad.
That's
Is that what
that's.
happened? I was.
Well, I didn't know she was there. I just was checking. I should have just seen my eyes.
Yeah. If you want someone to check bush, ask one on the front line.
You gotta.
You
be,
just. Okay.
Oh,
you gotta be
sure.
close to me, or you gotta pre-tenacity yourself.
Yeah.
They show 2 on a map. We should be able to get.
I think you literally just ask one of us to do it. Like I can tank a Sonya leap. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. It doesn't matter.
Off of
So,
it.
Yeah, vision
We
will
got-
score, by the way. They
Can I
can't
go
do
to
it.
healing
No.
and get 20s? I don't want to fight till 20.
Yeah.
Yeah. you're going.
They're on it. We see them. We're at 20, so I don't know if you want to fight it.
Not really.
Just click
Nah, they're just gonna
Like
falling
20,
anything which I do
bot.
right now.
You get bot slug. They're all top side.
That's fine.
Walked up.
They can stop.
You can look bot side.
We
After
see
re-
Yeah.
Nothing about side.
Yeah,
Get
go
on
back.
point.
Back.
Got to hear a lot of really good information and communication. What I like a lot is when there's an issue in the sense of how a team fight was played. There was no assigning of blame. It was, how do we move forward? This is what I'd like you to do. Ask the front line. I can do this. There was no don't do this. It was, hey, let's communicate more. I think that was really, really cool in the midst of a huge fight and a huge map like Volskaya Foundry.
Yeah, it's I love to hear that because I've been in some teams in Warcraft 3 where there was blame. And it doesn't feel good. It just makes everyone watch their back and stuff. And it doesn't matter if you know your teammate made a mistake or whatever. There is a very sensitive way to deal with that. Usually, bestest teammate says they did something, and people are like, "Yeah, but it's okay." And that's just so much more chill way to open up that area. Plus analysis for later, and it's nice. So that was a bit of a comeback there for Granit Gaming. Actually makes me feel it would be fun to jump into theirs now to hear the juxtaposition.
All right, let's go into Granite right now.
Only way we lose fight is before
they're going at me. Yeah, I'm gonna play it slow. I'm just gonna falling.
Yeah,
Can you
look at
me? Lucio, maybe?
Oh no arrow.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Lucio, no.
Yeah, Lucio.
Oh, I got it again.
You're
Healing, yeah.
Oh no.
Kill bunker.
Are we fine?
Yeah.
Keep going.
Down. Nice.
Really
Nice.
good. We
Okay, what do we
go
do?
bot keep and one.
Do we use a rush?
I mean, we
robot or no? We just push now.
No, we do robot up.
Like we end with this comp.
Holy fuck.
Just heal robot up.
They do still have enough.
That was Hanzo. Holy moly.
Yeah, careful.
I have a lots of hope.
I
Yeah.
have spells now. I'm gonna look for something in 10 seconds when you're falling, okay?
Yeah. I'm tanking.
Probably on Hanzo. I'll double blink on him.
Yeah, flying swords. 3 seconds.
I think wait
I have
for.
leap soon. 1 second. Yeah, I have it. Oh, I thought you were gonna go. That's
Okay.
I'm super dumb. Just whatever. We might have to back now.
Hanzo shooter up
We
here.
just call.
Yeah?
Hanzo is one. Okay, shield nurse. Don't. Can we get out?
Get out. Are you out?
Okay.
That's my bad. Do the same again. Yeah, we're throw an arrow.
Get this.
I'm really low.
I can just pop trank, honestly.
No.
Just
Just
to heal
back,
you.
just back, just back.
Just back. Doesn't
Yeah.
matter if they get this point, right?
I mean, if they get the Punisher, we just go on them.
We can
Should I
always
clear
play
mid?
the map with Zeratul now if you want. But we could also fight. How do you think? Yeah. How do you want to play this?
I think
Like you could just go push top right now.
He's walking up. They get it. They
Do we
get it.
fight point? They do,
Like
they
we
do,
did, right?
but like
I
they
think we
can't
fight- I
fight
think we
with the
fight outside.
Punisher. They cannot
fight
fight with
outside.
the Punisher. Yeah, yes,
Yeah.
you did say.
I'll give it. And maybe back out a bit and bait them to walk up.
Sure.
Yeah, let's walk up. Maybe stand here with Sonya and we lip
Yeah,
some
probably
guy.
this push.
They're gonna check it, like it's no point that you can stand up
Okay,
here.
Look.
I'm popping Odin already.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm
push
gonna
for
give
any
it D as
backhanders.
well.
Do you see Lucy's on this That's on side? it? Maybe.
I think you go.
Yeah.
I'm just
Big
gonna
damage.
use sleep.
Oh.
Okay, play to leave.
Okay, yeah, just play it
Can't do
to
anything.
defend core. Keep if I have to. Okay. Oh, slow, Carrot.
With a Zeratul setting up in a flank position like that, I thought that they could make the big play, but there was such a gap between Granit's roster and the Zeratul that WildHeart was able to punish this Zeratul before the Falling Sword really could get some value. Good turnaround from WildHeart, but can they end Grubby?
Well, let's see. Protector's going down. Hanzo doesn't have the best siege damage. Lunara does, but that's pretty much it. This team needs Protector to finish. As much as it's almost a meme, besides Lunara, there isn't enough siege damage. I would say Blaze even has more than Hanzo. And they're gonna go leap on Varian again. He gets the cleanse. In comes the arrow on Malfurion. That is not Ariat Crater Leap, so it doesn't have this tiny cooldown. Decent trade, honestly, especially considering Zeratul was dead. And now we can fight again without Leap. Meanwhile, lots of damage again as well on the top keep. So overall, Granit Gaming comes out really well. I loved to hear in those comms how they were totally fine to leave the Protector up. And I don't think, although Gia Zeratul died, I don't think it was his fault. Leap was never used there. He announced he had access to the back line. And Varian actually taunted Johanna. And once that happened, they knew they can go in. And I think Sonya Swamp Grota was a bit too slow to follow up. I think Red Robot Falling Sword was a bit too slow. Because Zeratul on the backline with support, just with that Falling Sword would have been enough, 100%, to get the kills on the backline. So I think they weren't as quick enough together with Gia. Right when that taunt hit, everyone can like press their buttons. Overall though, we've seen a marked difference, an improvement from Granit Gaming over the whole series. Before, it was kind of not interesting to watch them almost. And now suddenly, it's like they've woken up and a spark has awakened. And they have a chance again.
This is the closest we've seen Granit Gaming up against WildHeart in this series so far. I absolutely agree. We do see a few Granit Gaming members showing in the bottom lane. I'm going to quickly jump onto the vision, actually. So it's just Sonya showing vision-wise. Everyone else is floating around over here. I'm just double-checking. Yeah, Sonya was the only one to show. Everyone else manipulating the vision. Oil Slick actually might have revealed Red Robot. Gia not seen right here, as Tremor is like, okay, there's something in my way. I can't actually move because there's a physical body that is invisible. So Blaze,
that was so cool.
Yeah, that was actually pretty cool to kind of have that recognition from Tremor and Blaze, or Slug Hunter, excuse me.
I would love to know if Tremor actually felt it. Because it wasn't clear if he moved around it.
Right. Like if he was clicking in kind of an arc, or if he was clicking straight and he kind of arced around him because the pathing, essentially how it auto puts you around the character model. That is interesting, yeah.
And then if he did know, then he sure sold it well that he didn't. Because it's really obvious when you go full crescent moon around Gia, right? It's like, oh yeah, I see you, I'm feeling you. Yep, Zeratul, okay. Nipples, yes. Weird on the Protoss. No face. Facial cloak. Yep, that's Zeratul, all right. I know he's here. Team, come on and get it. Gia, though, even though he wasn't sure, he still decided to blink away because he could have been made.
Wisp is going to come out here. I'm just going to quickly check the vision because that Sentinel Wisp does activate right here and gives a lot of vision. The only thing seen is the Tychus and the Johanna for the time being. Zeratul setting up for a flank right now. I keep swapping between visions just to see if he steps up and if he gets seen right now. And there's a danger ping out. And the Sentinel Wisp, it sees like all the way across this entire objective. So here comes, yeah, you can see the Malfurion Moonfire. Oh my god, it's so tense because one good fight for either side wins the game. Granit Gaming, they're trying to end.
Core?
Maybe?
But they're gonna get flanked by Arrow. They must be saying things like, watch for Arrow, watch for Arrow. Zergling must be wondering, when is the time? They go leap on Blaze. There's the Arrow. That's a 4-man hit. 3 of them effective. Bunker. Tranquility. Oh, perfect timing for Hardened Shield. He still took so much damage just because of Giant Slayer. Zeratul gets jet propulsion on his return route. Nicely spotted by Slughunter, knowing that Zeratul with the double blink forward is going to wormhole back to prior position. Really high level plays by both teams here. Red Robot gets taunted. Giant Slayer, so much damage. He gets the Iron Skin. It's a small one. They're going to have to let the turret go. This time Sonya will get the Falling Sword. It's not enough. It's kind of like Red Robot didn't expect her to be pulled back in. By what, actually? By Lucio, I guess. I don't know. Gia takes so much damage. Jet propulsion misses. Odin running away, doing good counter damage into Blaze. Gia and Tychus together. Tychus and Gia together are getting that kill on Lunara. That's actually the best siege damage for WildHeart, which means that kill was so important. If they don't get that, then maybe WildHeart can end off that. But now I'm not sure.
WildHeart, they're considering this fortification camp weary day, was discussing, okay, who's going to stay on the point? It's going to be me. The camp will go over to Slug Hunter. They do have more siege tools into this this potential end, but it's a tense one, Grubby. It really is tense as Janna pops the Iron Skin. She will not be threatened with any sort of death. Oh, man.
See, this camp top is going to kill the keep. But there's not enough to all in the core, and they're gonna take the protector is WildHeart. They're gonna just try to take down the keep. I mean, that's easy, right? Like, it can do that much, can't it, Baha?
It will take this down guaranteed. But what else can be gained? 5 seconds on the Zeratul. Trigla Protector, currently, how much damage does it deal into structures, ladies and gentlemen? 811 damage. Trigla Protector, getting chunked right now, around 50%. The core shielding just about starting to fall. Lunara, she's working her way back from the core. Core shielding has fallen, Bunker from the Blaze does come down. 50% on the core. Whoa, that's a big chunk from this. Here comes the leap in from the Sonya. There's going to be a lot of damage onto the side of WildHeart. 2 members are going to be falling. Tremor trying to make the play here. They're so low on the core. Slug Hunter 3%. But Lunara, she can't go for this unless she gets a double leaping strike. She's going for it! She's gonna do it! Poison will take down the core! WildHeart 3-0s the members of Granit Gaming in one of the most insane ends that we've had today on HeroesCCL. That was one of the best ends I've seen on CCL this season. I love that. Like last weekend, a couple weekends ago, we had that end on Alterac Pass up against Chili Mountain. Oh my god. Chili Mountain Oxygen on that Alterac Pass map last weekend, but Justing. Perfectly played, right? Perfect.
Yeah, they calculated that exactly, the exact amount of damage that WildHeart needed. I've got like goosebumps from watching that. Mason Blaze coming in on the Lunara to finish the job. I thought it was a little risky for sure to go for that without their Lunara. There was about 20 seconds of time left on Lunara when they capped the objective. I almost wondered if they were going to wait to like step off the point and then go back onto it so they had Lunara up, but they went for it, and just barely by the literal smallest margin did they finish that game off. Huge props to Mason Blaze. He's got to be my MVP for ending the game there by himself, 1v5. Really, really impressive. A nice try by Granit to be able to otherwise stop the siege from WildHeart. That was unbelievably close at the ending. And going back in the game, it was basically, the early game was mostly just controlled by WildHeart. Just, they got all the heal packs at the beginning, they got all the objectives, and then there were a couple of times, though, where they showed weakness, and Granit Gaming had some moments where they had a chance to get back into the game. WildHeart got a little bit over-eager when they pushed mid, and they lost Mason Blaze on the Lunara. They got a little bit over-eager again when they pushed bottom, and they lost, it was a 2-for-3, which gave Granit Gaming a chance to get a level 20 versus 20 fight for the last objective. WildHeart, again, there was a series of just losses for them where they were getting a little bit too cocky, and Granit Gaming had a good chances to come back. This was the main point where Granit Gaming kind of lost that advantage, though, where they go for the bot push, where they look to kind of cheese out the core. They were looking to maybe backdoor themselves. They get caught, and then they get really greedy trying to stay for that camp invade. But they don't have their ults at this point. They don't have Sonya Leap, and Sonya without Leap is basically a melee minion, so they lose that, and then that gives them the objective, and then the core fight for WildHeart kind of speaks for itself. That was really, really good attempt at defense by Granit Gaming, and I guess perfect execution from WildHeart in a sense. It was the exact amount of damage needed. You could see Mason Blaze on the minimap right there, running his way to the core, watching it like, uh-oh. Like, what's going to be there when he gets there? And yeah, he's got the confidence to go for it, so shout-outs to him for that, and shout-outs to WildHeart for looking so strong in this series.
And that is such an insane moment right there. I loved it. That one is definitely going in our highlight video this weekend, Justing. But let's start talking about an interview, because we got Zergling on the line and we can actually ask him a couple questions about that series. Zergling, my friend, congratulations on your 3-0 victory versus Granit Gaming. How you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I'm overall happy with where the team is right now. So overall pretty good.
You are looking a lot more calm than the three of us, because I'm shaking from the end of that game. I know Justing was saying that he had goosebumps. I'm sure Grubby is still like just shaking from excitement. But let me not hog all the questions right now, because Justing, I'm sure you got a question too for Zergling.
Yeah, how was it in that last game? What were your comms like? Do you guys think for sure you were going to end with the objective there, because it was a little bit close? How confident were you in the comms, I guess, especially with Mason Blaze not being up for about 20 seconds? Are you guys certain of that? It went exactly according to plan, I'm assuming?
So it was definitely a core call. We're still getting better as a team on using objectives and getting full value. We should have basically Weary yelled at us the entire time. We just hear Weary yelling about what we should have been doing and this kind of stuff, and we're trying to split on core. And then I'm like, we should have enough damage. It should be fine. Just make sure you guys, make sure you can't get minigun by Tychus, and we should get a core easily. And then when Mason was going in, none of us were like, oh, Mason, you could just double hop in and end the game. He's like, okay. And then Henning was right there for the second hop to get on core, and that was game. So nice little finish.
Yeah, Henning. I guess Henning is part of the WildHeart crew. That's news to me. I guess you guys got a seventh member, but
for us.
I was actually watching that when we had the replay just as we were about to get to this interview. I noticed that too. I was like, oh my god, Henning perfectly lined up for Mason Blaze. But Grubby, any questions for Zergling?
Yeah, there was a cool game. There was a cool moment in the game where Zeratul Gia stood near you guys' turret camp at some point when there were still more forts up, and Tremor stood against him. He had the true invisibility. It was somewhere between level 16 to 18. Was there a call out from Tremor that he touched Zeratul? It was kind of this moment during the cast where he's like, hey, Zera's right here. Gia ended up blinking away from that. We were wondering if you guys knew that he was there. If you remember.
I don't remember. I was probably shot calling rotations or something, and Tremor might have been scaring his head off, but I was nowhere near that, so I have no idea.
Another question. Do you guys prefer to play matches where you feel you are evenly matched with your opponent, where you are the upper dog so that you know it's going to be a relaxing weekend, or do you prefer where you are the underdog so that you have to rise to the challenge, or don't you think that there are any matches where you are the underdog?
I don't think there's a preference for my team. As a team, like unfortunately we couldn't play against Storm. We played against two other teams and we lost two against the top teams. And it kind of is a mixed feeling of where we want to prove ourselves, but we are all slowly trying to get to this end goal, which is playoffs in the end of the season and a bunch of role swaps, and everyone's trying to get to the thing. So every single game, every single series, we're slowly getting better and better and better and fixing those things that aren't necessarily ideal where we want them to be. So every weekend we take what we get and we go on to the next game. So every game I vision us as the underdogs, because I don't think we have 5 people that are all like best enrolled. They have no more worry about mechanics or macro. Like, we're still slowly working on everything that we can do. So once we get everyone on the same page, which has been getting a lot better now, I think we'll start seeing some more success for our team, and hopefully we can finish the season strong.
It's really interesting to hear. Thank you.
It's a nice road plan or a game plan that you have as a team, Zergling. So it's really nice to have that insight, and thank you for joining us for the interview. Before I let you run out of here, are there any shouts that you'd like to give? The floor is all yours.
Cool. Yeah, I'd like to shout out, our org, WildHeart. It's always great to play with WildHeart and to kind of chill with everyone. Shout out to Jazzy, our manager, for scrims, Schulte for our video editing. Of course, my team, everyone put in the hard work so we can slowly get better. Great environment to play with. Shout out for Storm for 3-0ing, so we actually can get out of here at a decent time. Props to them. And then shout out for you guys. It's been a blast playing CCL, and hopefully you get more seasons.
We always hope for more seasons as well, and we look forward to seeing you all up against Diamond Hands next Sunday on December 12th. Good luck in your scrims, your practice, and all your preparation. You have a great week.
All right, see you guys.
Thank you for joining us. Awesome. Good, good insight. I feel like Mene was very similar in an interview where he's, even though they 3-0'd Granite Gaming, I do kind of like that there is that little bit of self-push adjusting where Zergling's like, yeah, we won, but we feel like we can still push beyond and we can still grow. And I really like that in a player because it's just, they have the drive. They have a lot of drive to be able to continually want to grow rather than being like, oh, okay, well, we 3-0'd, like, we don't need to be like self-critical or anything like that. I think that's really, really important to have in a player and a team.
Yeah, especially for WildHeart, because that is the team that I said sort of, he kind of touched on that he didn't feel that his whole team was individually just individual gods at their characters. It was more that they need to work on kind of staying cohesive as a team, and that's sort of what their strengths are. So it was cool to hear him say that it kind of points that out, that they're maybe not playing so much for individual stuff, they're playing to kind of get better as a team and build on those synergies, which it's definitely showing as the season's going on.
Well, speaking of synergies and cohesion, I believe you have the super duper awesome, amazing Omega Wisdom play of the day, Justin.
Yeah, that's right. I do have the super duper Omega awesome Wisdom play of the day. So we can go ahead and roll that clip. It is a long one. So it's the team fight between Chili Mountain and Storm Esports on Tomb. So notice this is kind of the moment that Chili Mountain with their combo-based comp really needs to fight, but Storm Esports knows this, so they don't get baited into the bunker, they all spread out, and they only lose Dayquaza. And since they know that Dayquaza is Leoric and he's going to be respawning soon, they realize that they can still take this fight, even 4v5, even down most of their ultimates. All they have is high 5, so with no ultimates, and in a 4v5, they still opt to take this sustained fight because they know that that's what their comp does best. And pay a lot of attention to Ibtings and Rutzo on the range DPS here. Look at how they play this fight. They don't play next to each other on the same side of the fight. They play completely split on opposite sides of the fight. And it creates this really awkward dynamic for Chili Mountain where if they go towards one range DPS, the other range DPS is just hitting them for free. And then here you see they use pretty much all of their cooldowns to kill Lauber. And watch Rutzo, he E's in, gets damage on the outside, E's back out, and gets the double kill over there. Well, on the same, and then Dayquaza does respawn finally, hits the two-man entomb, and just completely cleans up the fight. And that was just a really, really cool team fight coming out from Storm Esports and showcasing Ibtings and Rutzo, just that prowess on the range and their positioning.
It was awesome. Oh, please, Grubby.
It was Rutzo play like that on Sylvanas that I saw on his stream once that made me contact him for some Sylvanas coaching. And I was like, that thing you did there, that was incredible. You're like weaving through them. How do you know you're going to be safe? And he tried to teach me. And, well, it's like my French lessons in school. Not much has stuck with me since then. And,
Bonjour, Grubby. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Bonjour, je ne parle pas français.
Oui, oui, comment ça va?
I said I don't speak French, so...
Okay, all right, I tried. But thank you, Justin, as always, for the power play of the day presented by Wisdom. It's always nice to kind of relive one of those really cool moments, and I absolutely agree with you. The way that they positioned, they played that on the side of Storm Esports was just phenomenal. But we can actually get everyone caught up to date at the league standings because we've had 4 best of 5s this weekend, and things have shuffled up a little bit here, Grubby. As we do. I mean, well, Simplicity's still at the top, but other things have shuffled around.
Yeah, Simplicity's still at the top. Chili Mountain sadly still down there, as Granit Gaming is the 7th. But we have Storm, Diamond, Oxygen, and WildHeart all in a very exciting middle of the pack score. And well, we'll see that soon. But it's WildHeart against Diamond Hands next weekend, which is going to be awesome because it gets down to the nitty-gritty, Bahamut. One of these... most likely 30k Simplicity are top 3. You have to do the maths, but would be tough for 30k or Simplicity to fall out of the top 3. For Simplicity, potentially impossible. But WildHeart, Diamond Hands, the other 2 teams in the center, all of them can still make top 3. And why is that important? Because top 3 gets to skip the gauntlet. Top 3 is guaranteed top 4 in overall standings and prize money, whereas the rank 4 still has to play someone that comes up from the rung, from one of the lower rungs, and has to earn their match in the top 4. Like the rank 8 team can be a top 4 team, and the rank 4 team can actually lose and be eliminated in 5th.
Yeah, rank 4. That something on that I want to touch on is for us when we were playing, we really did not want to be 4th place because if you are the team that's at the top of the gauntlet, that is the absolute worst place to be because you have to play against the absolute creature that has eaten its way through 8th to 7th to 6th to 5th. So it's by far the scariest position to be in as you get to the end of the season because there's always like a monster team that comes out of the gauntlet that meets you at the end there. So you don't want to be on the receiving end of that.
Instead of Frankenstein's monster, it's CCL's monster. It's Cecil's monster. There you go. It's what Cecil's created. But some really cool stuff with that. And I agree with you, Grubby. I think it's really good to note that, yeah, Oxygen, WildHeart, and Diamond Hands, they're probably on the bubble per se. They're going to be shifting around in the next couple weeks a lot. And speaking of the next couple weeks, we can actually look forward to our matches next Saturday. As you had already mentioned, Simplicity versus Storm Esports and Chili Mountain versus 30K. We'll see what Chili Mountain's going to do. Are they going to be able to synergize and rally, or will 30k just shut down that series? Simplicity versus Storm Esports, that is going to be the standout matchup of that Saturday for me, Grubby.
Yeah, I think so. Simplicity Storm should be really, really good, with Simplicity being the favorite, but Storm definitely going to have a chance to rise to the occasion. They're a very strong team, and still only with a 2-3 score, but could have easily been like 3-2 or better.
And just to let everyone know, on Sunday, the first match will be Diamond Hands versus WildHeart. The final match of next weekend will be Granit Gaming versus Oxygen. So just to get you all up to date on all those matches that will be coming up next weekend on December 11th and 12th. But we've already talked about the future. Let's talk about what's happened today, Justin, because there's a lot of great maps and great games, but any takeaways that you kind of stand out to you or you'd like to share?
So WildHeart does look like they're scaling as the season progresses. They're looking more like the WildHeart that I was expecting, that we saw in week 1, that looked just extremely dominant. That I was kind of expecting higher expectations for WildHeart, and I'm glad to see them be able to close out this series in a 3-0. WildHeart, yeah, just overall just looking really, really strong. Simplicity still looks incredible. I think 30k still looks incredible. I would say that regardless of how the rest of the season shakes up, I am expecting those two teams to remain in that top 3 position. And I think it's going to be a bit of a battle for that 3rd place between WildHeart, even maybe Storm coming up from the bottom of the standings. They're looking really, really strong, even though their scoreline doesn't necessarily show that. So I think it's going to be really, really competitive for who's trying to break into that top 3, top 4.
The next 2 weeks are going to be very, very critical for a lot of these teams. I think Storm Esports, who go up against Simplicity this upcoming weekend, and then Granit Gaming after that, they definitely could move around, but it's going to depend on how Oxygen, 30k, and WildHeart perform as well. What do you think about today's games or the weekend, Grubby? Any kind of closing thoughts?
Well, we almost saw some hope from Chili Mountain where they could get that 3rd map victory from Granit Gaming, actually. From Granit Gaming, we almost saw some hope. Both 2 of the lower teams, it looked rough for them. I'm really hoping for both of them, especially Chili Mountain, they can go win a series in the next upcoming weeks. So today's matches were a little bit more one-sided, but yesterday we had some incredible games, particularly the 30k match. I enjoyed 30k's play very much.
There's a lot of outstanding plays this weekend on HeroesCCL. We want to thank Next Level Gaming for joining us for HeroesCCL Season 3. If you want to check out Next Level Gaming, it's an esports center in Miami where they host watch parties on Saturday and Sunday. You can use !NXT in chat to find out all about that. And we also want to give a big shout out and a thanks to Heroes Rise Contender Series that takes place on Thursdays and Fridays. It is a tournament series that is put on by 30k, WildHeart, and Diamond Hands. If you'd like to know more about Heroes Rise Contender Series, you can follow them on Twitter at Heroes_Rise. And for anyone wondering what the play level or the entrance is for that, there's no entry fee, but you just can't be in CCL. You can't be a CCL player. And that's the only really requirement. Otherwise, I mean, I could go make a 5-stack and I might not be able to do it because I'm a caster. But either way, you know what I mean, everyone. So if you want to play in some awesome games on Thursdays and Fridays, definitely check out Heroes Rise at Heroes_Rise on Twitter. Just want to make sure that you all get that at home if you want to check it out. It's a cool series. It's some more good content on Thursdays and Fridays if you are missing out on some more HeroesCCL action. And last but not least, I want to thank all of you at home for watching HeroesCCL. We really do appreciate all the support this weekend. We've jumped very high in that prize pool, and just thank you everyone once again for supporting HeroesCCL, for donating. Big shout out to Nasdub for the big donations this weekend. So thank you all so much for watching HeroesCCL. We'll see you on December 11th and 12th at 11 a.m. PST, 2 o'clock EST, 20 CET, and we'll be on a brand new patch. Will Rhaegar reign supreme, or will he be locked away in first ban purgatory? We'll have to find out next weekend on HeroesCCL. Thanks so much for watching. This has been HeroesCCL presented by Wisdom. Good night.